Hey, what's up, Silas here? Just a quick question for people on the left. So, women, minority groups, historically disadvantaged groups, people say that the effects of things that happened to them in the past, decades ago, so up to even a century ago, because people are talking about things from like 1900. They're talking about things that happened back then are still affecting these communities today. That's why you still need affirmative action and other laws and things to kind of give them a leg up to make up for that. Or if there's issues that are happening right now, the black community is hurt in a certain way. This is due to slavery. This is due to things that from way in the past. So we need corrective things today. So why is it that if something negative is happening under Donald J. Trump's current presidential administration of the United States of America, how come you can't just say, okay, yeah, that has something to do with President Obama's administration? It's a carryover from that. The negative things that were happening then to the economy are still happening to the economy. So the bad things that are happening now are not Donald J. Trump's fault, but they are due to the things President Obama was doing, or before him Bush, or before him the President Clinton, or before him the other Bush, or going back like that. How come that's not really applied in the same way? Now, I know in some cases people are just trying to score points when they say this, but you see this happening in an odd way. Like people say something good happens under the presidency. If it's their team, they'll say, yes, that's completely him. Something bad happens, they'll say, oh no, it was the previous administration carrying over with it. But I've seen two things right now which are just really awkward, really weird. One thing I saw with President Obama, they were talking about jobs created. I think Donald J. Trump in the last year had 2.03 million jobs created or something. And then they said with President Obama, he had something like like an average of 2.15 or something jobs created over his 8 years. So they're saying, look, this means, I think it was the title was Donald Slump or something. So how come I can't just say that, look, that situation, the jobs not being created are actually due to something President Obama did. And if you think I'm being unfair saying that, I actually saw people talking about that in a different sense when they were talking about how black unemployment, African American unemployment in the United States of America is at a record low. And then there was a chart showing how under President Obama, the whole thing had been dropping the whole time. So this is just a continuation of it. So they're saying, oh, it's just a continuation of it. The stock market boom, excuse the noise. The stock market boom, people will say, yes, that's just a continuation of what happened under Obama. It's not Trump himself. So this is an inconsistent treatment on the things that happened in the past and happen now. But yes, if you're saying things that happened to entire communities that are not even alive anymore, decades ago, even centuries ago, still affect them today, then you also have to admit that the negative things that may be happening in the economy, the negative things that may be happening in the society, the tension, the racial tensions and things like that, could have been due to President Obama's administration. You can't just say, okay, for these groups of people, it's affected in the past, and for Donald Trump, no, everything bad happened under him, and it's completely him. Yeah, one last thing on that jobs thing. When they're talking about the jobs, they just say jobs. It also matters what kind of jobs. The quality of jobs matters. If you're in a situation, if you're in a community, if you're in a place where, let's say I have one job that pays me $60,000 a year, I lose that one job because the company leaves the country or shuts down, and then I get two jobs that pay $25,000 each. I'm working maybe 20 more hours a week, still getting actually $10,000 less total. I still have two more jobs. And in that year, in that quarter or whatever, that year, those two jobs will count as at least a job created. In some charts, they'll negate the job that was lost and say, okay, at least a job was created. In some charts, they'll just count the two jobs that have taken on as two brand new jobs. For example, if I lose the job in the previous year, and then the next year, there's two fast food jobs, or there's two lower level jobs, two part-time jobs or something that I take on for $25,000 a year each. That year, those two jobs being created will count as two jobs being created in that time. So if instead I'm not working and then I come in under an economy with Trump or something, or somebody else, and the company moves back in, and that company opens up a business and it's giving me one job with $70,000 a year. Sorry, I keep saying month. $70,000 a year. that job will only count as one job. But I'll be working less, should have more time at home, having more take home, probably more of like a career type thing. So some things don't just take the actual number, look at the quality of what's being talked about. And yeah, like most people, someone would be like, yes, under this economy, we created 50 relationships. Under Obama, there was a lot more relationships being created a year. Maybe it was a lot of people just having polygamous relationships. It's a lot of people having a serial monogamy, just dating a different person every month, every month of the year. So you date 12 people that year. And then it's like, yeah, okay, so more people were dating under him. But then you say under Trump, it's only a twelfth of that, but it's more people getting married. It's not the same thing. I mean, it's still, the coupling might be less, but the quality is a whole different thing. So I think you should also worry about when you look at these figures, when you look at these things being brought up, ask for the context, look at the quality of what's being talked about. That's it. So just some consistency on that. Let me know what you guys think if you've seen this come up. Let me know if you can bring this up with somebody. Do you guys have any other questions for the left? I can't really. I'm probably gonna come up with some more. It's just these things that just come to me when I'm just having some conversations or reading stuff or listening to stuff. But yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Links below to the merchandise store, and that's it for now. Goodbye. So yeah, here's that image macro that I was talking about. As you see, Donald slump. 2007 was the worst year for job creation in 6 years. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, why are they going 6 years? Didn't Obama have 8 years? So I'm wondering what happened before that 2012 of 2.16. 2.19, I mean. So I think the average of this is around 2.5 million to 2.6 million, assuming that before that 2.19 it wasn't like 2 million. Probably was, otherwise they would have included it in this chart, I think. But yeah, this just goes to show that, okay, yeah, quality of jobs could have been public sector jobs. I think there was a lot of public sector growth in him, and yet Donald J. Trump, one of the first things he did was put a freeze on public sector hiring, and that could have been part of the job growth that didn't actually go in, job numbers that didn't come in. So yeah, that's it for now. Like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.